Good morning, everybody. My name is Zeb Welborn. I am the president of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce, and this is the Chino Valley Business Beat. This is our very first attempt at this, so bear with us while we kind of work through what could be some potential issues. But our goal with this is we really want to promote Chino and Chino Hills businesses and the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce community. So our opportunity here is to highlight businesses. We have lots of different things lined up for today, and in the future, when we do these, we have lots of things lined up as well. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of what to expect when we do these events. Essentially, what we're trying to do is highlight different aspects of our business community, highlight different businesses, educate some of our businesses on some pressing issues and needs that they have expressed they wanted help and support with. So our lineup today is we have a guest speaker that's going to come in and kind of talk about a way to enhance and grow your business. So today we are very excited to have Scott Kuethen here. He will be talking about how to hire A players. So you can expect that later on. We have one of our large Chairman's Circle sponsors, Jeff Cox from Health Service Alliance. He is going to come in and highlight the work that they do in our community. We have Chief Mensen from the Chino Police Department. Each month, we're going to highlight a leader that exemplifies leadership in the Chino Valley, and they are going to have an opportunity to kind of highlight some of the things that they are working on and share their leadership experience with our group. We have Deanna Margaritha. She is our chair of the board, so she's going to talk about the future and the vision of what the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce will look like in the next few years. We have Tera Charpentier. She is our ambassador chair. She works diligently with a team to go out into the community and help support local businesses. We have Josie, a staff member, who's going to give an update on the work that they do with the chamber so you can better leverage the work of our team to help grow your business. And then we're going to have some general member spotlights. We're going to spotlight some of our businesses. We're going to highlight some businesses that have achieved success using some of the tools that we've done through the chamber. And we're going to highlight some legislative issues as well. We want to make sure that legislatively, we are fighting and proactively working for businesses. So we have a legislative update at the end. And then lastly, we're going to kind of recap everything with the work that we do as a Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. The one thing that I want to highlight is our goal with this is to do a live version, but we also want to put this on demand for you. And so I want to give you some ideas and tips on how to use this on-demand version. We're going to put it on YouTube. So you're going to be able to watch this on demand. Like as an example, when I drive to work in the morning, I will always throw on some YouTube videos. I'm not watching the YouTube videos. I'm just listening. So you can watch this on YouTube and you can listen to these as you're driving into work in the morning. You can listen to them when you're at the gym, when you're cooking food in the evening, or maybe just when you want to relax with a nice glass of wine at the end of the day, and you can listen to the Chino Valley Business Beat. Some other things that I want to do, we also want to make this engaging. So we want to encourage you, wherever you're watching this, to leave comments. We're going to post this on Facebook. We're going to post this on our social media channels. We're going to post this on our LinkedIn page, and we're going to post this. So whether you're live or whether you are watching this on demand, we're going to throw out some opportunities to engage. As a Chamber of Commerce, one of the things we like to do is build connections with one another. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free to chime in. The last thing I want to mention is that our goal with this, we want to improve this month over month. So please give us your honest feedback. If you have some suggestions or ideas on how we can make this better, we are more than willing to listen to those and hopefully implement some of your thoughts and ideas on how to make this successful. So with that, we are very excited to kick this off. This is our test run. We're going to start doing these once a month in 2024, which we are very excited about. So we do have a great lineup of folks today that we're excited to present. So at first, I would like to introduce Scott Kuethen. Scott Kuethen is the CEO of Amtec, which is a hiring firm. Today he's going to talk about hiring A players. He is also on the board of directors for the San Bernardino County Workforce Development Board. So he has a lot of experience. He's a Chino Hills-based business and an awesome guy. So we are very excited. He's got lots of great insights on how to hire A players, and he's going to give you some great tips on how to hire A players.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Zeb. I'm excited to be here and just share. So first of all, every business, and you can check this for yourself, believes that the pathway to success in business includes the ability to consistently hire well. So hiring well is a key to success, not only for today, but for tomorrow. And you think about succession planning and the state of employment and all that, we need to learn internally how to hire well consistently. So there are some keys that I'll just go over today. So first, to start out with, we have to define what we want. And what we want in a successful A player or high performer goes beyond just technical competence. If we were to take 100 new hires, 46% of those new hires won't last past 18 months. 41% of the failures will be for things not related to their technical competence. So think of the accountant. A technical competence would be the accountant that doesn't know GAAP, generally acceptable accounting practices. So the failures come in, they're not coachable. They don't have the emotional intelligence required for success. They don't have the energy, drive, or motivation to get the job done, or they have some kind of personality or attitude issue. That makes up 41% of the failures when we think about hiring. So we need to, when we interview, we need to identify those qualities or attributes that are required for success in the job, and they beyond just the technical competency. So that's number one. Number two, in interviewing, don't wing it. So very few people are trained in how to interview well. And so as a result, they do what they have experienced themselves. They wing it. And the person shows up for the interview. They don't have an interview plan. They make up questions on the fly. And unfortunately, we ask poor questions. So we ask an accountant, hey, are you a good accountant? And the simple answer for the smart person is, let's see, what's the best answer here? Yes, I'm a good accountant, right? Or whatever the role requires. So it may be customer service, or it could be sales, or whatever. But if we ask questions with obvious right or wrong answers, then we'll probably not make a good hiring decision, because our candidate is just kind of pre-wired to give the best answer to get the job. So we should use behavioral interview questions. And Zeb, I'm springing this on you, but I'm going to give you a tool that you can share with everybody that's free, that will help generate good quality behavioral interview questions. And then finally, before we get into maybe a couple of questions, is we should define what success looks like. So make sure that before we start to hire, we know what we want this person to contribute, and what a successful contribution would look like. So think about when you were in college. Many people have gone to college, either a community college or a four-year college, and think about, we always had a syllabus. And in that syllabus, that told us exactly what we needed to do to get an A in the class, right? It said you had to read these books, you had these quizzes, these tests, these group projects, whatever it was, we knew exactly what we needed to do to get an A in the class. When we hire somebody, we should have a specific set of outcomes and results that we know, if this person, this new hire, produces these results, we're going to be happy. And we should define those for ourselves, but also for the new hire. They should know before they start, this is what I have to do. And once we and us being the hiring entity and the new hire agree that that's what the mission is, now we're on the right track to getting somebody started for success. There's a whole lot more to hiring well, but those are some key elements that are required.
Excellent. So one of the things you mentioned was behavioral interview questions. Can you give an example of one of those things we were talking about the other day and what that looks like? What's an example of a behavioral interview question?
So, many jobs, I'm just going to pick one out of the air. Let's just say that you were in a construction management job, right? And I would say that one of the qualities that are required in a construction management job, and many jobs, would be assertiveness. So how do we ask a candidate if they're assertive? Well, Zeb, I could say, hey, Zeb, are you assertive? And you would, yeah, of course, you give the right answer, right? But what if we asked, instead of asking Zeb, if you're assertive, what if we asked, hey, Zeb, can you give me an example of a time when you needed help from someone and they were uncooperative? And now Zeb, as the candidate, you might think about it and say, oh yeah, well, when I was at ABC Company, I needed some data for a report, and the person that can give me the data, needed to give me the data, they just wouldn't give me the time of day. And so this is what I did. Right. So now you're just telling a story about your work life, your past work life. And based on your answer, I've got an idea. Seems like Zeb is pretty balanced. He's able to nudge the person forward without being a steamroller and driving over them. That's it. That's an open-ended question that doesn't have an obvious right or wrong answer. And so that's a great example. And by the way, the tool that I'm going to give you a link to, free, has a competency catalog. So think of assertiveness as being one competency or an attribute. And the catalog has 75 competencies. And with each competency, there's a set of 3 behavioral interview questions.
Perfect, perfect.
So,
and thank you for sending that over. So we're excited about that. And then we're
yeah.
going into 2024. I know that one of the big issues that a lot of our businesses express when we're going into the new year is any kind of legislation that's revolved around employees and how to handle those employees. Can you maybe share maybe like the 1 or 2 top things that businesses should be aware of when it comes to their HR?
Okay, well, and I will say from the workforce, San Bernardino County Workforce Development Board has a business services team, and they have an HR hotline. So let me just share that. Everybody should be able to take advantage of that. It's completely free. And if you don't have a full-time HR specialist and you've got some issues coming up, that's something you want to pay attention to. Also, July 1, 2024, it will be required for all businesses with 10 or more employees to have a workplace violence prevention program in place. This will be administered by OSHA, and it's serious, right? That we all want a safe workplace, but that's something to keep an eye out for. And Zeb, I actually have another resource for you of somebody who could talk to that. So maybe in a future webcast. But you know, another thing that we all need to be aware of as employers is the difficulty in hiring anybody, right? The problem that we face today, and probably for the next decade, is folks like me who are old and decrepit. You know, I'm 65, and the baby boomers were exiting the workforce at about 10,000 people a day, and the new entrant into the workforce, that emerging adult, young adult, is entering the workforce later in life. Used to be 16, now it's in the mid-20s, and our birth rate in the United States is falling. So what can we do? We want to entice the best workers to work for us. And there's been a lot of, during COVID, there was a lot of discussion and a lot of practice of work from home, right? We all did that to some degree. Today, the worker wants more schedule flexibility. And there's a lot of pressure on wages. Well, I want more money. Well, you can actually exchange what today for you may be a good wage, but not as high as the candidate wants, for work from home schedule or schedule control, right? So if you have the kind of job that can be done from a desk somewhere other than your main office, you can negotiate with those high performing candidates to get to take your rate, which may be lower than they could get somewhere else, but in exchange for schedule control. Now, let me be clear. You don't give up or you don't compromise work product or the end result, but so the end result must be the same or better work product, but exchange some flexible work schedule. Maybe they work from the office 3 days a week and home 2 days a week, or vice versa. But exchange those two, because the worker today, especially the younger worker, the millennial or the Z, they really appreciate and want and value that work flexibility. So another thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I definitely agree with that on a personal note, but also we've seen that reflective across across our society. And then give me one last tidbit on the San Bernardino County Workforce Development Board. Since you're on that, you kind of alluded to the challenge of workforce. What does it look like locally? What do you see? Like, what's the number one thing that being on the San Bernardino County Workforce Development Board that you've noticed about our local workforce?
Well, first of all, the Workforce Development Board takes in federal dollars. So we're funded federally. Those federal dollars from the Department of Labor go to the state of California. The state of California distributes those dollars to every county in the state, and every county has one or more workforce development boards. So San Bernardino County has one, LA County has several. And workforce development boards run two things that every employer ought to be aware of. They run something called a one-stop, or an AJCC, which is just an acronym for America Job Center of California. And those centers are aimed at delivering people for jobs. Okay. And then the other big thing is that the Workforce Development Department has a business services department. And those folks are there to help businesses with their hiring. So imagine you need to hire 3 customer service people. You could go to the Workforce Development Department, Curtis Compton over there, and you could participate in a job fair that doesn't cost you anything, and where they will drive candidates to that job fair for you. So imagine going into spending a half day at one of these locations. They have one in San Bernardino, one in the high desert, and one in Ranch Cucamonga, and just showing up and having 100 or more candidates there that you can interview on the spot and make a hiring decision or a next step decision right there. They'll bring candidates to you. Now, the Workforce Development Department is charged with the job of bringing or bridging the gap for candidates who have some difficulty in getting into the workforce. So that could be somebody who's got a disability, or maybe a mom who chose to stay at home, and now maybe she stayed at home for the first few years of her kid's life, and now their children are in elementary school, and so now they're returning to the workforce. They've got some challenge there. Could be that that you have an industrial environment where you need a welder or a shop person, and you might consider the second chance route and hiring somebody who's fulfilled their commitment and obligation in the justice system, and now they're released and they've been trained, and they could be an excellent employee. So there are all sorts of services that the Workforce Development Board has, and lots to take advantage of.
Excellent. Well, Scott, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Scott does have
Thanks for having me.
experience hiring lots of A players. And then one of the things that I mentioned was I want to make this as interactive and engaging as possible so we can all connect. So regardless of where you're watching this from, whether it's on social media or whether it's live in person, you can use the chat feature in this case, what we've done is we identified the topic. So we've emailed out surveys to our local businesses. We've also done it at our Wednesday morning business at breakfast. What topics would you like to see in 2024? So if you're out there listening, we would love to hear what topics you personally would love for us to find experts for so that you can learn and grow your business in the future. So wherever you're watching this, go in the comment section and let us know what topics you would love to hear in the future. Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah, with that, we're going to move on to our next segment, I'll say. So this is the leadership portion of this, of our workshop. We want to bring in local leaders so that our businesses can get connected with local leaders and get a flavor of what's happening in the Chino Valley community. So today we are very excited to have Chino Police Chief Kevin Mensen. Kevin is he took over the role of police chief fairly recently. So congratulations on that, Kevin.
Thank you, Zeb.
Yeah, so how long has it been?
So it's been 4 months, but it feels like 4 years.
Yeah, we've had a few chats over the last couple of months, and you've articulated that a lot, that it's a big change for you, and then doing the chief life is a lot of public facing work that you're doing. So it's, but one, I want to thank you. We recently did our Chino Valley Leadership Collaborative. We have 25 leaders that are participating in this leadership collaborative. We spent a half day at the Chino Police Department. Did some really cool stuff with our leadership collaborative. We checked out their drone system. We did, they do a simulator where we had some of our actual participants got a chance to see what one of those live scenarios would look like when you're dealing with somebody who's breaking the law and could potentially be violent. So needless to say, that person in the simulation was shot. And then we did you guys have this very cool kind of traffic overview where you're able to look over the whole city. So thank you for arranging that. That was a great experience for all of our participants.
No, absolutely. It was a great opportunity. It's a great program. I know that's your second class, and I think we have we've had two people in both of the classes, and the feedback has been very good.
Awesome. No, that's great to hear, and I really appreciate your support in that as well. It's really good for us to connect businesses with our local community because if something goes wrong in our businesses, which I know we're going to be talking about in a few minutes here, you have a resource, somebody to turn to in these opportunities. And that's one of our goals is to build connections with businesses and the community at large. So with that, I know that I know that you have an initiative that you are working on that you'd love to share with the community. So I'm just going to let you take away, give the brief version of this and tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, so let me first start off. So yes, I took over 4 months ago, but I've worked for the Chino Police Department going on 27 years. I started here as a young 18-year-old police cadet. So I've been around the community for a very long time. But coming obviously as the chief, and I know you Scott just spoke about hiring, and that is a challenge for us here at the police department as well. So we have 198 members of our team here, and it seems like we are constantly hiring. Matter of fact, when I walked in this morning, we were doing interviews for one of our positions. So, but the hiring, it is so critical, and making sure that we get the right people hired, and we're looking really first and foremost that they're honest and their integrity is intact. That's our foundation. But really looking at people that are good communicators. We're not looking for this very big, robust resume. Some of our best police officers we've hired when they were working at In-N-Out or America's Tire or some of these other local businesses, and they know how to interact with people, because that's really in law enforcement. We're in the customer service industry, and to be able to serve the community and how to talk with people is very big. So, but let me get into a little bit of kind of what's taking place. And back on November 21st, the Chino City Council voted to put a sales tax initiative on the ballot for the March 5th election. And what this is, it's a 1 cent sales tax. Our current sales tax is 7.75. It's to raise it to 8.75. They are currently the city brings in currently $35.5 million a year in sales tax. This will make it an additional 28 million up to like $63.5 million. And all of that money will stay here locally within Chino, as opposed to there's really only 1.5 cents left. The sales tax can only go up so much before an outside entity can come in and do a sales tax initiative throughout the region. And if that gets voted in, then our sales tax will be raised, but yet that money will go outside of the city. So we're trying to get ahead of it. Really, just the cost of providing city services is continuing to increase. We have done this. The council's done very good in deferring maintenance and having a lump of money in our reserves. But if we are to continue to provide the level of service over the next 5 years, we're going to deplete the amount of money in our reserves, which is over $70 million. So that's why we're trying to get ahead of it right now to put the sales tax initiative. I'll talk specifically, obviously, why it's so important for the public safety component. And I know the streets and the parks, there's other part of it. But as far as public safety, so right now, our city is, we're busier now than we've ever been. Our calls for service are up 9% from last year. And last year was the most amount of calls we've ever responded to. As everyone knows, which is a good thing, the Chino Valley is growing. Our population is about 95,000. They're looking in upwards of 140,000 plus. I was just down at a city hall in the move down at the new Stater Brothers off of Pine And I mean, if you go down there and you look at that shopping center, the Stater Brothers is the first business in there, but there's going to be a bunch of other business in there, a shopping center across the street, a K-8 school opening up down, another one down in the preserve. So that community is booming, along with some other pockets of land throughout the city. So our calls for service are up 9%, and that's only going to increase. The challenge we have here in Chino, and I'll talk about crime, is theft, and specifically retail theft, cargo theft, burglaries. Our robberies are up as well as a result of some of our retail theft. And I think we're all seeing that. We're seeing that when we go to the store, you see your basic items, your hygiene items are locked up. And that's to trying to prevent some of this theft that's taking place. Our theft here, our retail theft is up 55% in Chino. And that's pretty from last year. And that's pretty significant. So this is the season when obviously come the holidays, when our retail theft is normally up. So we have a bunch of operations that we're working right now down at the Spectrum, specifically a bunch of officers on overtime. We've done an education campaign. We have signboards set up that says retail theft operation in progress. We have decoy police cars parked down there. And I think we're making a difference. In these 3 weeks, we've made 18 arrests and we've recovered over $6,000 worth of stolen property. And I don't know if you follow us on our social media, but we put a post up, I think it was not yesterday, the day before, of a foot pursuit of a person that was a parolee that had just committed a bunch of theft, ran into a store. We ended up catching him. So we're putting a lot of this stuff on our social media to educate our community. But and to give you an example of some of this theft is, so Target's up 65%, Dick's is up 133, Marshall's up 125, and I could just go down the list. Stater Brothers had $40,000 of shrinkage last quarter. So, we're seeing, and this is theft being committed by really people from outside of our community coming into Chino and victimizing our businesses. So that's the challenge we have. I have the detective that's working this, also works domestic violence, forgery, identity theft. This is just another ancillary assignment that he works. Our cargo theft is up 185%. It's almost every few days we're having a semi truck with a tractor trailer stolen. And there's usually about $150,000 worth of cargo that's in each of those semi trucks. So, and again, these are, we've caught a lot of people, and a lot of this is these are gang members coming in from LA County, and really victimizing our businesses. Burglaries, and talking about the chamber, a lot of our small businesses that are family owned, family working there, are burglarized. I know I read a list off earlier, but from a bike shop to a nail salon to a small restaurant, you're getting somebody, a burglar come in, break out the front window. What they're targeting is the safes. They'll go in and they'll try to cut off the safe and steal it. And so, and now what that costs the business, obviously you show up in the morning or your alarm goes off, and now here you are having to fix your window and then whatever you had stolen. So you're looking at several thousands of dollars. So really what it comes down to for this sales tax for me is for public safety is needing resources, is homelessness. We spend a lot of resources on homelessness. We have a 4-person quality of life team, and that is their main assignment, is to address homelessness. And they're very successful. You will not see a homeless encampment set up here in Chino. And we don't arrest our way out of it. We look for long-term solutions. It takes over 70 contacts with a homeless person before they usually will trust us with accepting the help that we're providing them. So we're doing that. Obviously, our schools is a big thing. We're very involved. We have 3 school resource officers. They're busier now they've ever been. And we're seeing some of the challenges in our high schools now in our junior highs. So I'm wanting school resource officers also in our junior highs to provide a level of safety. So back to, the public safety component it comes down to resources, is needing additional resources. Our first priority above everything else is when you call 911 is that we get there quickly. So having patrol officers able to respond to these calls, and that's first. And if we can't do that, then I need to pull detectives out. I need to pull officers off of the homeless outreach team to be able to do that. So And then, so yeah, so as far as it coming down to for the sales tax is to be able to have additional officers to work specifically assigned to this retail theft, specifically assigned additional school resource officers, traffic officers, to really to be able to fund that. Because if the city is running in a $15 million deficit, I think the city council and city manager are going to be hard pressed to give me the additional resources that I request. So that's a really quick overview of what's going on. I will say Chino is a safe community. Our biggest issue, I have to open it up with theft. Some of our neighboring cities, I mean, they're dealing with shootings and stabbings and everything else. Although we've had our serious incidents in the past, we don't have those. But we want to maintain Chino, the safe community to, that you can have a business and it can thrive. Obviously, big things is short of crime and dealing with the homelessness. I know that's important for our businesses here in the community.
Perfect. Well, Chief, thank you so much. We've kind of run into the same circles for a long time now. We were very excited to see you become police chief, and so again, one of the things we're trying to do is make sure that we're creating engaging opportunities. One of the things that the chamber wants to support our businesses with is we have seen that retail theft. We have seen break-ins with local businesses. I think just the other day I saw a Facebook post where Lemongrass Bistro in Chino Hills had a break-in. And so you see those things, and you mentioned a lot of the businesses that we work with as well that are chamber members. There's opportunities for the chamber to help support our businesses in terms of legislation, because one of the things that one of the reasons why these are happening is because there's legislation that's been passed that makes it harder to deter these incidents from happening. And so if we're able to work on that legislation to better support our businesses, it'll be more helpful. So if you know of a business or you're involved and have a business that has experience to break in, we're looking to host a roundtable around that to bring businesses that have experience with any kind of break-in or any kind of theft or any kind of those types of challenges, so that we can really work to fight put some legislation in place that will help make that less likely to happen in our community. So Chief, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Zeb. Take care.
You too. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Chief. The next up is our chairperson of the board, Deanna Margaritha. Deanna Margaritha is the owner of Infuzion Zone in Chino Hills, which is a laser tag center. I was lucky enough to go over there on Sunday. I had some friends from out of town that came into town. We went and visited Infuzion Zone, and I gotta tell you, their kids and their family had a blast. So thank you so much. And they wanted, they were a little upset that I didn't ask for more time in there, but it was a great time. So thank you so much. Deanna, we would love to just hear from you. You're a chair of the board. You've been involved in the chamber. We want to hear what the future looks like, and we want to hear some thoughts you might have on being the chairperson of the board for the chamber.
All right. Well, thank you, Zeb, and thanks for coming out to play at Infuzion Zone. Shame on you for not giving them more time to play. What's up with that?
We had to get food.
All right. So as far as what's coming for the 2024, I would say you'll continue to see some of the great programming that we've already done. Zeb, you could speak to some of the details, but the chamber has put on over 170 programs in 2023 that were phenomenal for businesses, building connections for businesses, for leaders, like the Leadership Collaborative. The chief was just, he's a participant in Leadership Collaborative. Just a bunch of different programs to support the Chino Valley businesses, the leaders, the community. So you'll continue to see great programming in 2024. I'd like to highlight two programs or two things that are coming up that I think are pretty awesome. One of the things as a chamber and as a board that we have to continue to be connected and cognizant to is feedback. Our business at breakfast is a staple that we have been doing with the chamber for many years, and it is awesome. On Wednesday mornings, we have excellent speakers, a great time to come together and connect. But feedback that we've received is that not everyone can attend on Wednesday mornings. So what we'll see is there's going to be some little changes coming in 2024 where we'll have different opportunities for the community to connect. So we'll continue to do the business of breakfast. We're also going to add some lunchtime opportunities. Zeb, it's going to be like a webinar, is that correct? For the
That's
lunchtime?
this thing right here. That's
Okay,
what it is.
this thing right here. So we're going to have the Wednesday morning breakfast. We're going to have lunchtime opportunities. We've also heard, excuse me, that many people wanted us to bring back networking and connecting and mixers. So we heard you, and we're going to be bringing back evening mixers. And we all know that in leadership and in business, how we grow is when we connect with each other and when we make relationships. So I am excited that we're going to be giving different opportunities for our business leaders, our community to connect in 2024 at different times, because, you know, our schedules are ever changing. So there'll always be an opportunity to get connected. So that's one of the things that I'm excited about, is the changing in the format and the times that we're going to offer different opportunities. Another thing that I am really excited about is in 2023, we had our first ever women's conference, and the feedback was just overwhelming. The folks loved the conference. Afterwards, we didn't even end, and they were asking when we're going to do it again. So in 2024, we want to do an even bigger conference. We want to maybe even double the size. Maybe if we can do it at a convention center, and also do some collaboration. We're looking to partner with a regional group that serves women or serves leaders. We want to do a lot more collaboration across the county, across the region. We have an awesome team, and there's other awesome community groups that we could come together and put together awesome programs. So I'm really excited about the Women's Conference for 2024. It's just going to be twice as many people, and it's going to be wonderful. So I would say those are the two things that I'm most excited about, along with many other things. So I am going to open it up. Do we have time to ask some questions?
So this is a one-person show, so no questions for these live things. However, having said that, that's what the purpose of the comment section is. We want to encourage you to ask as many questions as you can. Deanna is a phenomenal leader of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. And thank you so much for all the support and guidance you give. So one of those things, in addition to questions that you want to put in the comment section, I'd also encourage you to, if you were involved in the chamber last year, share one thing that you thought that you experienced that was the best for you last year. So if you're connected with the chamber and you had any experience with us last year, what was the one thing that you did last year that you really enjoyed and really appreciated, and that you want to make sure that you're involved in next year? With that, Deanna, I want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing your insights, sharing what the future looks like. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Hey, keep on doing the great work.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Our next panelist today is Tera Charpentier. Tera is our ambassador chair. She's with Mary Kay Cosmetics. She has done some awesome work for the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. She joined, I mean, it seems like not that long ago, but it's been been a while now that you joined our ambassador team. One of the things that you took on very early on and that you've done a phenomenal job with is giving a chamber presence out in the community. So we've hosted tons of events, or not hosted. The chamber hosts tons of events, but then the community also puts on their own events, and it's impossible for us to attend everything. And so it's really great that we have ambassadors that are willing to go out there and not only highlight the chamber, but also highlight their own businesses. And so our ambassador team, we have about 20 ambassadors. These are folks that go out in the community, help support the work that we do. And Tera is a phenomenal example of that. So she's taking the responsibility of, we have a chamber easy up. She signs up for these community events, and then she sets up the chamber event, and then we're able to promote our businesses. So she's not just promoting her business, she's promoting the chamber, and she's promoting the 500 businesses that are part of the chamber. So Tera, I'd love to just chat with you a little bit to talk about your experience, how that's been setting up those booths, interacting with the community. what's some of those things that you've done over the past year that you really enjoyed and that you'd love to share with our chamber?
Okay, well, hi everyone. The biggest events that we do the 4th of July event at Ayala Park, and that brings thousands of people. And then the next biggest one that we do is the Halloween event. And like Zeb said, I do set up the canopy, and then I, recruit a couple of the ambassadors to come out. And we're out there in the community. And like Zeb and Deanna did say, there is chamber events happening, and it's important for us to be out in the community and let those business members know, let the, the community know what's happening. So when this was brought up to me, I ran with it because I thought, why not? Coming out of COVID and the lockdown, I really wanted to be out in the community. So it was a perfect fit for me to do this. I've done this in the past, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me to do it. And that is about, we do have, so I did mention the 2 events. We do have some smaller events. In the summertime, there's the Chino movies in the park. So for 6 weeks, we do set up for that. And then we do have some other events throughout the year too, but we do plan for those events that I just mentioned throughout the year. And then just whatever, comes up that we are invited to, if our schedule allows, then we set up the canopy and we're out there in the community, and we are explaining what the chamber does. And it's good to, for somebody to have a face to a name when they're out there. And just last night I was out with my family, and we ended up at the shops, and one of the stores we went to 3 different places. And the first place I ran into somebody I knew. And then the last place I ran into somebody I knew. And as I'm paying, my son says, "Mom's running into everybody out here tonight." So it was kind of funny, to see people and they recognize you and put a face to a name.
Yeah, that's great, and you've done a great job at doing that and leverage that. And that's one of the opportunities that I think the chamber represents, is it gives people and gives businesses opportunities to integrate and to connect to the network. And you've done a really good job at that. And I also want to thank you, because that's one of those things that we've tried initiating for a long time, and you really taken it and run with it. So I want to thank you for doing that, and also thank you for being the chair of our ambassador committee. What's maybe the favorite event that you've participated in both Chino and Chino Hills? Do you have a favorite, one that sticks out to you in Chino and one that sticks out to you in Chino Hills?
Off the top of my head, you asked a question earlier, and so I've been thinking about my answer, and off the top of my head, I do not have a favorite. I mean, I like every event that we do. The bigger events that we do, like I like the Taste of Chino Hills, just because, it brings all the businesses out and brings the community out, and the business expo too. It helps, advertise the businesses that are out there that people wouldn't generally know that exist today.
Excellent. No, thank you so much, Tera. Really appreciate all you do for the chamber, and it's a pleasure to have you, and you've done a phenomenal job. So thank you. And
Thank you.
So if any of you are interested in getting involved in the chamber, let me just give you some opportunities on ways that you can get involved. So the ambassadors is one example, and the ambassador group, essentially they're business owners that are looking to get better connected into the community. There's opportunities for them to go and engage with other businesses. And so we kind of create opportunities for, like, how do we help best support our businesses and our ambassadors? They're kind of like our eyes and ears of the chamber. They're the ones that are very active in a networking sense. They're connecting and interacting and engaging with other businesses to help, one, to bring them in the chamber, but also to let us know what those issues and what challenges businesses are facing out there, so that we can take action and improve on that. But another way to get involved is we call them committees, right? So each of those events, so Tera mentioned 2 events, our Taste of the Chino Valley event, we have our Business Expo. Each of these events have committees that help us make these events become successful. So if you have any interest in getting involved, maybe it's not being an ambassador where you're doing it all, but Deanna mentioned our women's conference earlier. Maybe that's a passion you have. Maybe it's a taste of the Chino Valley, and from your business, it helps getting connected with restaurants. Or maybe it's our Business Expo, so you can make sure it's as big and robust as possible. These are all opportunities that Chamber provides, so that you have the opportunity to connect with people who are also passionate about that same thing. But then we're also building something and doing something really good for the community. So I encourage you to get involved and get connected. So in the comments section, if you're watching this, let us know if there's anything you would be interested in getting involved in, or that you would like to see in our community, that you would like to participate in, and we can help try to connect you with something that might be of your passion. So Tera, thank you so much. Okay, so next we have, this is Patricia. So Patricia is with Oasis Optometry. And Deanna mentioned that we do these business at breakfasts every Wednesday. And one of the things that we do at our business breakfast is we ask for kudos. We say, highlight another member here that has done something good for you or your business. And Patricia mentioned something that I really wanted to highlight because she gave a really great kudos recently. So I would love to hear about the kudos that you gave in regards to, I believe it was our kids entrepreneurship fair. And then you had some kind of thoughts on that, which I thought were very cool. And I would love to share with our business community at large.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So like Zeb said, my name is Patricia. I co-own a optometry private practice here in Chino. So I wanted to give a kudos to the kids entrepreneurship fair, which was a few months ago. But I think the chamber did a really great job creating an environment for young entrepreneurs to showcase their talents. So what I appreciated about the event was that it gave an opportunity for our community leaders and business owners to show their kids what it's like to run a business. In fact, actually, my fellow optometrist had her kid showcase a booth there. Another thing I really enjoyed was the event gave my patients an opportunity to showcase their artistic skills and love for crafting. So actually, I'm wearing their earrings today for the holidays.
Wow.
They're very, they were very talented, and I didn't even know that they were so artistic. But being able to allow them to showcase their love for crafting and really to show that their skills, their creativity, it's really valuable. So I thought that was great. So all in all, I thought the chamber did a really great job hosting the event. So like I mentioned, I co-own private practice with my sister, and both of us are Inland Empire natives. So opening a practice where we grew up is very personal to us. So, we wanted to be able to serve and engage with our community. And I felt that the kids entrepreneurship fair was a great culmination of that. Our patients support us, supporting our patients and having the community the same was reflected in that event. And then lastly, something I just wanted to say that something I really appreciate about the Chino Chamber is that all the events that the chamber hosts are very intentional. I think they serve not only to help businesses professionally, but really fosters personal wellness and growth, community networking and engagement. And as a result, these events make me feel closer to the Chino community because I see what the community does, their joys, their struggles. So I know the chamber works really hard to make sure each event is worthwhile. So I would highly recommend, if possible, to attend as many chamber events as I can. I know sometimes it's a struggle for me because events are during office hours, but I feel like any event I've been to has been very worth my time. So I just wanted to give a kudos to both the chamber for hosting the Kids Entrepreneurship Fair, and the chamber itself.
Awesome. Awesome. No, thank you so much. And we'll give a shout out to Nicole on our team, Nicole Tabatabai. She's the one that helps put on that Kids Entrepreneurship Fair. She does a great job with it. And I think the thing that struck out to me when you were sharing that was that you had you attended because you mentioned your sister had that booth there and you were going there to support. And then you found some of your patients that were there, they were selling those products and services. And so it was a great connection point for you to build and foster a closer relationship with your patient. And it's very cool to see you wearing those earrings today. So that's awesome. So thank you, Patricia. Next, I have, this is on our team. So our staff, Josie De Vera, she handles the marketing for the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. So if you see any of our emails, you see any of our emails, social media posts, any kind of video content, any kind of graphic design work that comes out of the chamber, that's all Josie. And one of the things that we did, she's been instrumental in helping put this together. So she created the agenda. She's done all the outreach to bring all of our speakers and guests together. She's done a phenomenal job in terms of the work that she does with the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce and how she markets us and gets us out in the community. And then Deanna also mentioned that women's conference on our side. Josie took on the responsibility of helping execute on that women's conference. Huge success there too. So we're super proud of Josie, and we would love to hear her talk about how she worked on setting this up. Josie.
Yes, so as Zeb mentioned, I'm really privileged to get to try new things consistently here at the chamber. So this is something new that we implemented. As Zeb mentioned, we wanted to provide more value to our members. And as Deanna mentioned, not everyone can always attend. I'm able to try new things here, and something that we really tried to implement and listen to is providing more opportunities to our members who can't always attend events in person. So we started the Chino Valley Business Beat. We wanted it to be on demand, try to be as far reaching as we can. So as I've mentioned, putting this on social media, YouTube, having it readily available. And there's a lot of larger businesses within the chamber that we don't always see their faces because they're busy or they just don't tend to attend these events. So having something like this will help everyone feel included and reach a wider audience from our membership. So yeah, putting this together, just kind of brainstorming with Zeb on topics we wanted to introduce to our businesses, topics that our businesses have been interested in, and also just seeing who else would be valuable for our businesses to hear from. So putting a list together, creating an agenda of things to discuss and how the flow of this broadcast will go. It's going to be a work in progress, of course, but we're open to all feedback and continuously improving.
Perfect. Thank you, Josie. One of the things just to highlight, give a kudos for Josie. So in our chamber association, we attend a conference and academy every year. We get a chance to submit for scholarships based off of the good work that we do in the chamber. So Josie received a scholarship to participate in academy. I think there's like 20 or so people in the industry that received this scholarship. So it's a testament to the good work that she's been doing. So congratulations, Josie. And thank you for helping arrange this. This is a good, and so for the engagement piece of this section, I would love it. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned it with Patricia's, but if you have a kudos that you would like to give to anybody in the chamber world, please, or it doesn't have to be chamber world, just Chino Valley business community, Chino Valley businesses. If you would like to highlight a Chino Valley business, please do that in the comments. And then also, you know, I mentioned this is our first run at this. We would love your feedback to see how well this goes. So that's a second ask for this section is let us know, give us your feedback. Would you like to see something else? How is this working for you? Let us know in the comment section of where you're watching this. And like we said, we wanted to make this an on-demand option so that people could engage, interact, and connect, network and they don't have to do it at a specific time. So we're going to be diverting some advertising funds to make sure that this stream, or I don't know what you want to call it, this Chino Valley Business Beat goes out to our local businesses so that we should have lots of interaction on our comment section. So please be one of those people that helps make that happen. So with that, we want to bring up, this is Rhonda Brogdon. Rhonda is the owner of Servpro, and we're going to talk about legislative action. So there's, like we mentioned with Chief Mensen and retail theft, that's one opportunity that the chamber can lead on and help make sure that, or help create opportunities where that retail theft is less likely to happen. Rhonda has been experiencing a challenge in her business legislatively that we would love to see if any other businesses are having that same issue and see if we can, as a chamber, work to help solve that. So with that, I'd love to bring up Rhonda from Servpro. Rhonda, would you let us know the issue that you're facing and give some context to what you're experiencing and see if we can get some businesses to help us move the needle on that front?
Sure. Thank you very much, Seb. And good morning, everyone. Sorry I was a little late for some reason it didn't show up on my calendar. Sorry I missed some of this program. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about an issue a challenge that we're facing right now in our business related to a bill that was introduced. It actually was introduced about a year ago, but it started going into play at the beginning of July, I believe it was. This is a bill that's related to background checks. I don't know if anyone is experiencing the same issue, but I'm hopeful that we can share knowledge and see what we can do legislatively to try and resolve. So we, being a 24/7, 365 emergency service business, where we get calls out to customers' homes and businesses when they experience a loss, as far as water damage, a fire, if they find mold, asbestos, if they're needing reconstruction services. Our technicians that go in and provide this work, we're required to perform pretty stringent background checks. We need to make sure that we're not hiring someone who is a part of an organized theft ring. They're not a part of a violent or don't have a violent background, because that puts our customers at risk. And our program work that we do for all of the national insurance carriers require that we do a stringent background check before we send people into customers' homes and businesses. So in order to do that, you have to supply some information. Very cute, Deanna. We have to supply information to our agencies to do those background checks. Well, in July, they started, Governor Newsom signed into a bill that no longer allows us to use really any identifying information other than a name. So you can't use a social, you can't use a date of birth, you can't use a driver's license, anything to identify these individuals. So that is requiring the court clerks to do manual name searches and try and narrow it down. And as we all know, there are multiple of the same name out there in these counties. I mean, we have millions of people in just our San Bernardino and LA County. And when you're having to search someone who has lived in LA County, someone's lived in Orange County and then has now moved to San Bernardino County, you have to do a search of all three of those. So, and then our clerks are overwhelmed with the manual process. So now when we call, and we don't do this, we have a search company who does it. When our search company makes those calls, and they're doing it for not just our company, they're doing it for multiples. They have a limit. They can only call with 20 individuals at a time. They get no more than an hour a day. So it's slowing down the process greatly in trying to get people hired. So I know, for instance, one individual that we submitted in October, our HR specialist was given a date of January 15th, I believe, for a date. That's 3 months. You can't wait 3 months to hire individuals. So I brought this to Zeb's attention and said, hey, is there someone I can talk to? I did talk to someone in Senator Rubio's office. I think it was Rubio's, wasn't it? Or yeah. And gave that information, but I don't know. Are there any other businesses out there that are experiencing this same issue? I would love to, because I told Zeb, I said, I will lobby, I will do whatever you need me to do. I've done this before in the healthcare realm. So I've been to Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill lobbying for different things for ambulatory surgery centers. So I'm fine to get involved. And I'm happy to help or listen or include any of those that may be experiencing some of the same issues.
Yeah, and please, so in the comment section, if you have, or even if you know someone you feel like might be facing that challenge, tag them in the comment section below. We're trying to coalesce that. We did send out some emails to see if we could identify some other businesses. So that way, I mean, it really helps in the legislative capacity if we're able to find, and it doesn't have to be much, just a handful of businesses that are experiencing that issue.
Mhm.
And then we can schedule appointments with our local legislators, and they can really move the needle on these challenges that our businesses are facing, because the challenge is sometimes this legislation can pass. They don't know how it impacts like the people on the ground. And when they hear those stories, there's a much more concerted effort to try to take some kind of action on it. So Rhonda, thank you so much. But I had a couple of other questions I wanted to pose of you. You
Sure.
were part of our first ever Chino Valley Leadership Collaborative. And you are also kind enough to be an interviewer. So you interviewed a lot of the people. I mean, every year we interview the candidates that are going into our leadership program to make sure that they're serious about it, that they're going to complete it and do all the obligations that are required of it. So I want to thank you for interviewing all of the candidates that we had for this year. But I'd love to just share, like, what was your favorite experience going through the Chino Valley Leadership Collaborative last year?
You know, I had lots of great experiences, I think, with the Leadership Collaborative. Number one, first and foremost, was meeting some of the leaders in the community that you don't necessarily get that one-on-one time with. You know, even though it's only one day out of a month for 10 months, you get dedicated one-on-one time with about 20, 25 individuals, and you really get to know them. You get to know how they integrate in the community, what their passions are for the community, and how they can be a resource for you in the community. You know, we got to kind of what I would call carpool karaoke every, you know, that one Friday a month, so that we could, and I made sure to get in the car with different individuals every time as much as I could, so that I could learn more about them, because when you're driving around the city, that's when you kind of get to know them. So, you know, just building those relationships was huge for me.
Awesome, that's fantastic. And the other thing I'd like to highlight is you were named Chino Business of the Year. You and Servpro
Yes.
Chino Hills was named Business of the Year this past
Yes.
year. I never got a chance to ask you, were you aware of that prior to getting the award? Was that a surprise, and how was that day for you?
It was a surprise, and it was a very it was of course a welcome surprise. I was you know, we were elated. It's like, you know, we have been in the community a long time, and we've been, you know, we had a home-based business when we first started. That was in Chino Hills. And then when we started, when we moved out of our home 5 years into it, we've been in Chino, but we've been involved in both communities as much as possible. I was in the medical field, as you all know, for many years, and just within the last 4.5 years, I've been daily involved in the business, and it's really helped to get more involved in the community. And that's, you know, that's where it's all at. We do business here. We want to get to know our community, and we want to support our community. And I do find that supporting our community, how valuable that is. You know, and I think probably because I was traveling all over the place and hardly ever in my community when I was in the medical field, I have a greater appreciation for that. So yeah, it was a surprise, and it was, you know, I mean, our team, you know, we highlighted our team there. You know, they have put in a lot of work to be a premier service company in our community. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, awesome, and congratulations on that, and thank you very much. I want to say, and because I joined 13 years ago as a member, and you guys, we've had connections across over those full 13 years. You guys have always been a great community partner. You do a lot in the community. You've devoted and committed time and resources into building up the community, and I think from my outsider's perspective, it looks like it's paid off in a substantial way. And I've seen that happen with a lot of our other businesses. Is oftentimes people get into the chamber and will think, and I was this way when I first got in, is it you're exchanging business cards right away, and business kind of happens right away, and And the reality of it is when you build and you're getting connected into the community, is that when I've seen people make investments into the community at large and spend the time and efforts into it, it does grow, and it kind of grows exponentially as the years go on. And I've seen that happen with you and your business, and you guys have just done a phenomenal job. I know you've grown a ton. So we just thank you for all of the guidance and support that you give to the chamber. So you're also on our board of directors. You're also a Chairman Circle sponsor. So thank you for all you do.
Yes. Well, and just another couple little things, but I think that yes, people join the chamber thinking, okay, this is a platform for me to sell or to expand my business. And it is, but we all don't want to forget the valuable resources that are available through the chamber. How many times have I texted you, even on a weekend, and said, hey, do you know somebody here? Do you know somebody there? You always respond, and it helps me to make another connection, or to have, I know now who to call. You've put me in contact with people via email. I mean, that's what it's all about. It really is.
And I appreciate it. And again, thank you for all that you do. Okay, so that's gonna bring us. We got one more. I'm just gonna give us like some chamber highlights, and also, so again, if we're gonna take action on this segment of the Chino Valley Business Beat, if you're experiencing any kind of those issues that Rhonda mentioned, or you know of a business that might be, please tag them or tag yourselves in that comment section, so we can kind of bring people together to see if we can help move the needle on that issue. With that, I want to bring up some of our upcoming events. This is our, like I shared already, this is our first go at this. Would love your feedback on how this went for you. So please feel free to chime in. The comment section is a great place to connect with our panelists. It's a great place to connect with other business owners. So if you have any questions, you have any interaction pieces, please feel free to tag them on those social media channels and ask those questions there. It's a great opportunity to connect with experts or people who are engaged and involved in our business community to ask those questions. So here are some upcoming events for the chamber. It is the holidays. So we're, like Deanna mentioned, it was like 165 events that the chamber specifically hosted last year, which is a crazy amount. We still plan on doing a hefty amount of planning, and it's for different groups and different organizations. But on 12/21, so that's this week, I lose track of days. Maybe it's tomorrow. It's the Zoom into business advocacy. So one of the things we're also shifting in 2024, we used to do our legislative advocacy meetings at lunchtime, and we think that we would experience better attendance if we did it via Zoom. I think a lot of our business owners are overwhelmed and have a lot of work to do, and driving away from the office to attend an in-person meeting is challenging in today's environment. So we're hoping the Zoom model will help us do that. So we're going to have the Zoom into business advocacy. We had Chief Mensen on here earlier. So he is going to come and give a much more in-depth, detailed explanation of what they're doing in the city of Chino, go over that information. And then as our legislative action committee, if you have any interest in that sales tax, if you have any interest in learning more information about what the city of Chino is doing, we do have a legislative action committee, which is dedicated to members of the chamber, that meets right after that. So if you're either concerned about the sales tax or you're in favor of the sales tax, as a business owner and member of the chamber, you are welcome to participate in our legislative action committee, where we will discuss that in detail and make decisions on how the chamber interacts on that front with the proposed Chino sales tax. We still are doing our business at breakfast, although we're not doing it every week. We're still going to be doing it once every other week. It's going to be the first and third Wednesday of every month. So the first business at breakfast, we're going to have Dino Fulton. Dino is one of our ambassadors. He's also on our Chino Valley Foundation board. So he is going to be, I'm pretty sure, going to be talking about goal setting for the future, which is a great way for our businesses to set goals and plans for the future. And Dino is a great speaker, wealth of knowledge. So I'd encourage you to check that out. On January 10th, we are doing a job fair at the Chino Hills Community Center. So if you are interested in looking into hiring or having those opportunities, Scott, at the beginning of the broadcast, was talking about the job fairs and the value that brings in terms of connecting job seekers with employers. So that's on January 10th. And then we also, Chief Mensen, he just reached out and said, I want to have the opportunity to speak to the different groups that make up the Chino Valley. So on January 17th, Chino Police Chief Mensen will be speaking at our Business at Breakfast presentation, and that's on January 17th. So those are the things that we have coming up. Lastly, to close out this show today, I just want to share, it's the holidays. What are we thankful for? I would love it if in the comment section you could share something that you are grateful for this year, particularly like the Chamber of Commerce. We're a business organization. We're here to support and grow businesses. So if you can highlight a business or you can highlight somebody that's involved in the chamber community that you are thankful for in the comment section, I would really appreciate it. And I'll just share some of the things that we are thankful for. This has been a busy year. We received $1 million of funding to our Upscale Chino Valley program. We received that, and then we had to execute on it. And so I'm very proud that we executed on all the work that we did. We set out, so we kind of outlined, we wanted to do work in workforce development. We wanted to do work in leadership development. We wanted to do work in economic development, and we wanted to do work in entrepreneurship development. We created all these programs. We brought in people to form a team. None of these programs were in existence before. And so within the last year, we've not only implemented and executed on those, but we've done those very, very well. We've had lots of great success stories from businesses that participate in those programs. So I'm very grateful and appreciative of the entire ecosystem of the chamber. We have great board of directors. We have a great staff, an award-winning staff. We have a great ambassador team, and we have great businesses that grow and support and connect our community. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. Have a happy holidays.
Thank you.